Welcome to our live. Today, I'm having my client Amanda join me, and we're going to talk about her journey. It's just that I need to figure out how to do this. There we are. Hey,
Okay.
how
Hello.
are you?
I'm good. Can you see me okay? Should I take? Are we live? We're live. Oh,
We're live.
I should have fixed
Welcome
my
to
hair
Instagram.
beforehand.
Welcome to Instagram Live. There's no warning. We're already live.
Okay,
Are
fair
you
enough.
okay? Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay. So, should we just jump right in?
yeah,
Yes.
sounds good.
Okay, awesome. So, everybody, this is my client, Amanda Burton. She is absolutely amazing. She came to me several months ago because her doctor wanted to put her on thyroid medications for hypothyroid. Yes, hypothyroid. And she didn't want to go on the medications. And so she said, Reenee, we got to figure this out. We have 3 months before my next blood test. If we can figure this out, I don't have to take the meds. And so I said, sure, let's do this. And we did a lot of work on discovering the underlying emotional root cause of your thyroid issues. And Amanda worked really hard on that part, and we reversed it. And I remember because I think I was in the airport when you messaged me. You got your results, but then you weren't sure about like interpreting them. And then the doctor called you like half an hour later or a little bit later, if I remember correctly. And she was like, "Oh my God, Amanda, I don't know what you're doing. Keep doing it because you don't need the meds." But that was like, I was emotional when I heard that. So that was awesome. And then the funny thing is, I just want to share this anecdote and then I'm going to hand it over to you to talk about it. But the funny thing is, like, several weeks ago, Amanda went back for blood tests and she went into the lab to get her blood work done. And they're like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I'm doing my thyroid blood test." And they're like, "Why are you here? You don't need to be here. Like, you're fine. Your thyroid is good. It's reversed. It's great. And like, you don't need to do these blood tests anymore." So I thought that was really funny because it was like a big kind of wake up call, right? Like that you're so healthy that they don't even need to check anymore, check your thyroid. And for anyone just joining, Amanda went from needing to be on meds to not needing meds to having a super healthy thyroid. And then we took it one step further and we started to look at how that emotional root cause of holding back self expression and like honoring your truth and your authentic self was showing up in your business. And when we went there, we realized that was a limiting belief that was holding back business. And like totally embracing your power and stepping into that authenticity transformed your business. So I don't want to do too much talking. I want to hand it over to Amanda. And let me just, you can introduce yourself, but I'm going to put a word in like, she is a love and dating coach, and she is absolutely brilliant at what she does. She has such a fresh, beautiful perspective on love and dating. So if anyone's looking for that, do check her out. But Amanda, I'm going to hand it over to you and just maybe you can tell everyone a little bit like about your journey and why you first started and how it felt going through
Yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And I'm just gonna make it like a level, just a level more unbelievable because I actually was on meds for I think 2 years, and they told me, well, okay, once you go on them, that your thyroid just stops working, and you're gonna need them for the rest of your life. And then I kept going off them because I'm like, I don't want to be on meds. I can do this. And then finally, I found Reenee, and I was feeling all sorts of ways, like physically and stuff. And yeah, it was amazing, and it wasn't long at all. It was within I mean, I started to notice a difference very quickly, but with the blood work wise, she's like, "Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna give you 3 months, and if it's not, maybe she only gave me 4 weeks, 3 months." And I went back, and then the numbers were a little. Yeah, I remember I was asking you. They looked off, but she's like, no, keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, really? Okay. And so I did, and then yep, just a month later or something, it was like, nope, perfect. We don't want to see you for another 6 months to a year. I'm like, what? And I was going in so frequently. So just that too, like it was not. It was supposed to be done working. I've already been on the meds for 2 years, so how is this even possible? But Rini is amazing. And yeah, so yeah, being able to get to that root cause had and and the thing about it too, it just has shifted so much in life and parenting and oh my God, relationships and business and just everything. I feel like a different person. I can feel, I don't know, just my voice even, it sounds different to me. It feels different to me. More things, more realizations and I don't know, epiphanies and just uh, new ways of thinking of things as well. It has been just so expansive and being able to express that without without fear or getting trapped in my body or in the emotions and stuff has been really game changing. I mean, I can't, I won't say it all here, but the changes in life that has been happening that seem like out of nowhere have just been, I don't even know what to say. Like I keep, letting okay, I don't know what magic you're working here, but game on, I'll play. So
And it's interesting you brought up so many interesting things. Like the one was the parenting, right? So like when you go into that change, like so the underlying root cause here for Amanda was that self-expression, which with thyroid, majority of the time, that's what it is. It's like holding back self-expression. And just how you were expressing yourself as a mom totally transformed, and how you were showing up with the girls. And I still remember when you sent me that message and you were like, I just had the most amazing evening with them, and we just felt so connected, right? And that was that. I think that's the thing. The more you connect with your own truth, the more you can connect with others. So that's why this changes your entire, like all your relationships, parenting, love, clients, your relationship with your clients, right? Everything totally changes. And the other part of that, what you said that I thought was so important to talk about when it comes to thyroid is you kept saying like you had these realizations and awakenings and this wisdom kept dropping in, right? Because for anyone that's experiencing thyroid issues, that is throat chakra, right? And you automatically think of self-expression, but why are you not expressing yourself? It's because you're not aligned with your truth. You're not in tune or connected to that truth. And so the more you connect into it, that's when that wisdom drops and you have like those realizations. And then you're like, oh my God, I get it now. I get myself. And when I understand myself, then I can express myself way, way easier. And that's where that self expression comes in. And that's why it's easier to express yourself as that wisdom drops in.
absolutely. And it's so funny because even every time I talk to Reenee, and I tell you this all the time, it's just like you just connect more dots for me and it lands a little bit deeper. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's totally it. And yeah, being able, yeah, and the trusting myself that what is dropping in is true and I'll be able to understand it and I am understanding it and then I can articulate it and I can guide people too, so all of that has just been, I mean, really looking back, I don't really recognize who I was before now that I am just able to feel this way, I guess, about myself too and about everything. And yeah, and especially with business, it's been so, I just groundbreaking for real. I, I don't know how else to say it besides I know it's not magic because it all makes sense, quantum physics, all of that good stuff, but it feels like that. It feels amazing.
I'm so happy to hear. And ultimately, right, that was you doing the work, you tuning your frequency. So, like when you have chronic conditions, when you have those illnesses, healing that is just scratching the surface, right? Because when we healed it, we were like over the moon, right? And that was amazing. But then it just kept getting going deeper and deeper. And then that's when the truth bombs started dropping, and you're like, oh my God, Reenee, I just realized this or had this awakening. And then the business. I guess if you could tell everybody for you, what was the thing that you experienced through your container with me that was like the least expected thing that you thought like that your thyroid was impacting in your life?
The um the least expected thing. Yeah,
Or the thing that like kind of surprised you where you were like, oh, I didn't know that was related to my thyroid.
God, I feel like there were so many things. I feel like I had like epiphanies and aha moments every like eureka's every time you would message me. But the least, yeah, I I mean, probably when we did like the childhood stuff and like family patterns and stuff like that, it was like, oh my God, who would have thunk it? You know? Or so that kind of stuff. And then what you were able to do with me from there to help me to like sh- keep shifting so that I don't keep playing out the pattern and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was also there was a lot that was surprising to me. Like when, I mean, I starred so many of our messages where you were just uh, like, oh, how did you come on? And for you too, it's not like, well, I guess I won't say how you work. You're just so, your intelligence, your connection to whatever else and all of that stuff is so, um, I don't know of any other word besides amazing, and how it has actually helped like catapult me into this like different reality almost, not even almost. It really it truly is. I feel different. I feel like I'm in different skin. I'm comfortable in my skin now. Yeah, that
I think
feels
that's what it was, right? Like I got to watch you like totally step into your power and own it and own your truth, own who you are, and like put it out there in the world, which has been like incredible. I think one of the things also that we didn't talk about, because you mentioned the childhood stuff. So one of the things that I do with my clients, for anyone who doesn't know, is we will do Reiki to identify the childhood moments when you adopt the survival patterns that are creating your illness. But then we also did the past life, the Akashic records, which was also, even for me, I thought like that was pretty transformational, the stuff that came up in that one, and how the frequencies from your past life were playing out in this life.
yeah, that one was actually huge. I don't know why I didn't say that. I feel like there's just such big things. And also to note too that, and I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg or whatever, but I feel like it was one of the most, I feel like it could have been one of the most difficult times in my life as well, that had been, these past months. And so, that I really just had no, um, like I said, I don't know why it all manifested at the same time, but I feel like I literally had no idea or thought of, like, that truth was not there. I didn't know who I was. I was like, what is happening? And just all of what you've been doing. And I think, and even before that, it was with the nutrition and stuff like that you had helped me with.
Yes.
It was just all so needed. And just like you had pointed out some things too, like things like, well, if you're not eating when you're hungry, that's a form of self-sabotage. And I was like, what? I've been like, I didn't even know I wasn't. I thought I was doing my thing, working, and so yeah, there were just so many things that were so surprising to me that I didn't even consider.
That
So
so you feel like the puzzle kind of came together.
yeah, and it continues to come together as well, like as I'm working with you some more. And it's so funny because I feel like it's different work now, but it's just like all of the dots connected, and they connected so quickly, and it was like, oh my God, okay, everything really is working out perfectly, and I can trust that. And yeah, and you're safe to be yourself. And well, I'm saying I'm safe to be myself, and feel okay, and I'm not going to get it wrong. And it is, so all of those things that, um like, you have helped me to foundationally work with, like down to like the cells of my body, and to the structures that I had going on in my mind, um and spirit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We did a lot of rewiring, right? So like when we started, the work was very physical, and I was like, okay, here's your supplements, and here's, the dietary changes, and like what you were talking about, the golden milk at night, and like the nuts that are going to ground you. And then we just went into, when we got to the emotional root cause, we went through that emotional realm. So we tackled the physical realm, and we tackled the chronic condition from a physical perspective. Then we went through the emotional realm, which was like tumultuous and like the childhood trauma and all of that. And then we took it up a notch to like the spiritual realm, which is when that truth stuff started dropping in. And that's when like you said, like the work, it's evolved through through the months that we've been working together, right? Like starting from that physical and now totally transformational. And your business, do you want to talk a little bit about your business and how it's impacted that and what's happened?
Yeah, so business wise, uh, so I was at kind of a halt with business for, it was a serious halt. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this, even though I knew I would never stop giving advice, unwanted advice. No, I'm just kidding.
It's
Advice.
wanted.
Yes, yes,
I
so
love it.
unwanted. Thank you. So, um, but I was really, it was, what do we, I walked through the valley of the shadow
Shadow.
of death. Like,
You used to say that
I
all
was
the
like
time. I'm
singing
walking through
that.
the valley of shadow. Yes.
Yeah, I kept singing that because it was like, I was comical. I was making myself laugh, but oh my God, the pain that I was like in and feeling. And of course it went everywhere else. And so what was my point? There was that. So with business, that's where I was. And I couldn't figure out, why am I not, like, I know that I'm passionate about this. What is happening? And and part of it was that Reenee helped me to recognize too, is that I actually wasn't fully in my truth at that point. Like, I knew that what I have been going on was an outdated perspective. But I wasn't allowing it to drop in at the time, right? The new perspective. Now I am okay with that new perspective. And as scary as it was to accept and embrace, it's there now, right? Because I'm trusting myself. And so now I've been and it's so interesting because once I was like, yeah, hold on a second, this is where it is now, and that feels even more true. And so now all the programs are coming out, the clients are coming in, and they're beautiful too. Everything is so perfect. The clients are just perfect dream clients. They're like, the impact is already, I can see that the impact is more than what I've ever experienced before with clients even. And it's just so yeah, it's just a different world for me now. And I'm still just kind of basking in it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is my new normal. This is so amazing.
I love it. I love it. And it's so interesting because you were talking about like in between where you were like, who am I? And you felt like you lost that identity. Because a big part of shedding a chronic condition, a big part of it is that even if you don't say like I am diabetic or I am whatever, it's still a part of your identity. And the reason is because of all of the emotional behaviors and patterns that come along with it are part of your identity. So when you release those patterns and you release that chronic condition, you do go to this place of the void. And we talked about this so much in our work, right? Like you're in the void where you're like, who am I? What am I? I've lost this big chunk of myself, which was never really yourself. It was something you just adopted out of survival, and it's gone. And now what? And then you were in that place. And then when you cleared out that space and you cleared out that egocentric, those patterns that were creating that chronic condition, and you cleared them out, that's when it made space for your truth to start dropping in, right? But there is that point in time where you plateau and you're like, I'm in the void. Who am I? I'm nobody. And then the truth starts revealing itself. And then that's when it started to really flourish, right?
Absolutely. And it's so funny that you say that, because I think it's worth noting too that when you're going through this, experiencing this, it does get a little bit like, you don't know. There were times I was messaging like, this is what I'm doing because I think I'm supposed to go do it, but I really don't know why I'm going. Like, I feel just so neutral and numb here. I'm not sure, but but and it's interesting because at the time you were like, no, really, trust it, it's okay. And enjoy it, you kept saying. And at the time I was like, okay, let me try here. But it's funny now, where I am now, which wasn't long ago at all. Now that I'm where I am, I'm like, oh, I wish I enjoyed that some more. I could have trusted the process, but it was like, but yeah, it was so Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
So,
having that person, right? That's what the coach is, right? Like that person on the outside. We always talk about this person on the top of the maze. That's like, no, no, trust yourself. You're going in the right direction. I can see it. Just keep going. And you're like, but I'm not there yet. But it's like, no, 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 but you're almost there. I can see it kind of thing, right?
oh my God,
Um,
you plucking me out of the maze is like my favorite. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I would be without you. Like, how many times a day was I like reaching out, like, okay, for real? And then 5 minutes later, oh, here I am again, you know? So, um, but now I think it's different. I don't think I don't reach out with the same things. I'm not in the maze as much. In fact, it feels like, it just, it just feels open and clear. And yeah, there are
expansive.
times I go, yes, expansive. Yep.
But I do have to give you a lot of credit because, like, you were never afraid to go there and you were never afraid to keep going until it was sorted out and you figured it out and you were fully comfortable and keep asking the questions and keep saying what was coming up. And I encourage, like, all my clients all the time. I'm like, if it's, I can tell you something, but if it's not sitting right with you, keep asking me until it's sitting right. And it can be painful. And it was painful. I remember, like, but you didn't stop, like you persevered. You're like, okay, no, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to keep going and we're going to figure it out. And I'm going to get myself out of this and I'm going to do it until I feel it, until I embody it. Which is why, and at the time it felt painful, but now you're sitting here like, actually it wasn't even that long ago, right? So it's
No,
like that
it
pain for
wasn't.
that little bit of time, and then you're through the tunnel, right, into onto the other side.
Absolutely. And I so appreciate you. I'm like touching my throat right now because there were, even when we first started, I was like, I didn't want to reach out. I didn't want to take up too much space. I didn't want to like, um, yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Am I, do I sound stupid if I ask this again? Or, and so with you though, it was like, I don't, you just had such a, and you were so compassionate with me the whole time, so patient and compassionate. Like, even when, a lot of the stuff too is the self judgment. So I wasn't patient and compassionate with myself. Like, come on, Amanda, and you were so gentle. I was like, oh, she's so
Oh,
gentle with me. So I was able to just keep going. And it was like, finally, I realized, thanks to you, and you had mentioned it too, that, okay, I deserve support and I'm worthy of this support and I can reach out and this is what the support is there for. And so yeah. Oh, now I'm overflowing with appreciation for you. Thank
oh,
you.
I feel that emotion. It has been such a pleasure to work with you. You have no idea. You're so inspiring, and I love your story. Just the way, like I said, like you, because at first, like when you first started, I knew that, and I know this because I do know this with the thyroid and the lack of, like, the holding back self-expression. I'm like, this is always a thing with the thyroid clients, encouraging you to take up the space. But it's not easy, and so, like, I commend you, and I loved it. I loved that you were not afraid to be honest. You were not afraid to just go there. You were open to understanding yourself from so many different perspectives, which is what has, like, cracked open everything. It has been so much fun for me, like, really, to watch you go through that journey. I know it's been painful, but it was so beautiful to see you transform.
Ah,
Amazing.
it is so good to be here. Thank you so much. And the I was gonna say one more thing. Oh, totally forgot it. Oh well.
It'll come back.
Um, yeah. Oh, some of the things that I was saying to you as well is like, oh my God, I feel like a terrible person saying this. But you, again, still, it was like you gave me the perspective. And it wasn't just like, and what I love too about you is that, and I think maybe coaching in general, like, we're not like, how do you say it? Like, nothing's sugar coated and just said to make you feel better. It's said and you're guided in order for you to grow as a human, on this, as this being here.
Yeah.
Which I still am just so amazed with how you were able to do that. Like, I never felt, uh, I don't know. I always felt like you were able to see me when I wasn't, seeing myself,
You're
I guess.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say, like, that's such a human thing, right? Like, we just can't see ourselves, and we're in our own mess in our own life all the time. And then someone from the outside comes along. And I think that's like, you're a coach too, right? So you know this, you see this with your clients, like, this is what we do. We are there on the outside and we're looking with compassion. We're seeing you through the eyes of love, seeing you in ways that you can't see yourself. And that's what shifts everything, because we're like, this is my perspective of you. This is what I'm seeing in you. And yeah, sure, you had that thought, or yeah, sure, you did that thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything about you. It doesn't necessarily mean what you're making it mean, right? Which is so amazing about coaching in general. And I'm going to just do like a little plug in about you, because
Oh, thank
Amanda's helped
you.
me a little bit too in love, and she's like absolutely incredible at what she does. I do encourage you guys to check her out. It's fresh, and like one thing you said was that like you make things comical, and like you really do make everything in love so comical and fun and playful. I totally appreciate that. So if anyone is looking for dating or cosmic love coaching, check out Amanda.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me. I know you have to go get the kiddos, so I won't keep you. Thank you guys for tuning into the live. If you guys have any questions about healing chronic conditions, exploding your business, or how to heal your thyroid, reach out and message me. Thank you.